Our founders lampooned King George III. It is essential to pull down their idols. What do you say to that, Bob Chapman?
You're absolutely correct. Reverse psychology. Snapping it right back in their face.
In fact, I'm going to do a special broadcast at 4 o'clock today, 1 hour after the show is over. I'm going to do 30 minutes live as, guys, can you stay late for that? 4 to 4:30. I'm going to do, what about Jaron? I need 2 people on this. I'm going to take an hour break to get into Joker attire, and then I'm going to do 15, 20 minutes as the Joker, PrisonPlanet.tv, and the audio streams at 4 o'clock today Central. Go ahead, Bob Chapman.
Well, I think that sounds like a great idea. That'll drill them a little deeper. And, you know, I hear these comments coming out of New York City that are so sophisticated. I don't see anything very sophisticated about socialism.
Well, I tell you, this is getting crazier and crazier and crazier. Look, I want to sit back and go over with you, because you were in military intelligence and fought the Soviets, and you've studied, and you've been fighting the New World Order for 45 years. By the way, Dr. Corsi wanted me to say hi to you on air, said he's a fan of what you do. When we come back, they really are having Obama goons. I guess Joker has goons. Joker has thugs. He has a crew of pimp daddies out there pimping the hose. I want to talk about how they're beating up people now that show up to shout down the congressman, and then the media spins it and says we're the ones starting the fights.
Goon squads.
Goon squads. In fact, maybe I'll put the guys in Joker attire or with clown mask, and I can have my goon squad. And I mean, maybe that's the new. I think this poster cut through to his soul of gangster evil and lies, Bob.
You know, it's interesting. They used the same kind of goon squads back in the 20s and 30s to suppress the labor unions and the labor movement itself. And it was very violent. I don't know whether most people know that. And, you know, people were hired like regulators who stood outside the factories, and if you came near there or if you walked around with a sign saying unfair wages or something like that, you know, they'd send 50 of these people in with clubs, and they'd start beating people to death.
Well, now what they do is there's no jobs for the union people. They just get paid by Acorn or some other group Obama's given millions, and they beat you up. So I guess the new job for the unions is just beating people up. And you can't make this up. They have brown khaki pants and black jackets and red shirts. So it's like some kind of Cobra Commander outfit or something. I mean, pure fascist colors. Bob, let's break it down, get into the economy, and a lot more straight ahead with Bob Chapman, InternationalForecaster.com. Joker and his crew, 4 p.m. Central today. Special 30-minute show in here in this seat.
Got someone to blame.
All right, Bob Chapman, let's get serious here.
One love.
I see the establishment staging a terror attack on themselves to demonize the activists. And even Dr. Corsi, who's pretty mainline, says that's why they're attacking the demonstrators, and then saying on the news that the demonstrators against Obama did this is a form of false flag. But I see him having to do something bigger. He's got the lowest approval rating of any president in history 7 months in. He's plunging. The globalists on every front are in trouble. Both parties are being booed off the stage. The media wants to cover that fact up. Where do you see this going, Bob?
I think as long as he continues to not expose his true birth certificate and prove that he's an American citizen, that will be part of the demonstration process, which is going to continue. And then the people are irate about that, but also about the Obama medical reform euthanasia plan. And, most people don't want to lose their private insurance, and they don't want socialized medicine. And then you have the cap and trade, which is nothing but a new tax. And incidentally, we don't know what form a final bill will be in the medical, the insurance thing, but I would expect, even if they tighten it up, it's going to increase that just one issue alone will increase taxation 10 to 15%, and the cap and trade will increase to 20%. So you're looking at an extra 35. So if you're in a 25 tax bracket, you're going to be in for 60%. And then you get all those other taxes you got to pay. So you're going to be in for 70% if those two issues are passed, and you're going to lose more of your freedom. And I think that people are going to demonstrate wholeheartedly. I projected in January that his rating for approval would be about 40%, and by September, October, and it looks like it's headed there.
What about stage crises, though? I mean, how do you see the establishment countering as the people completely wake up? What, just trying to make it partisan so the people that wake up think the Republicans will save them? I think people waking up are way past that.
Well, I think that when you see people with light-colored clothing on, such as khakis and red shirts and black jackets, you know that they were all working together. And I mean, that's dumb as dumb. But anyway, they have goons running around now, and they're going to be going to these different meetings and demonstrations. They're going to be causing trouble. And there's not.
Yeah, they knew this was coming. They knew the American people weren't going to put up with it, so they've created a giant thug force.
That's right. And what I'm afraid of, too, is that other people who are demonstrating that they might form their own counterforce. I mean, this is what happened in Germany during the 1930s and 20s as well, especially in the 20s. People don't realize it, but there were lots and lots, hundreds of armies of people, 50 people or 20,000 people, and they would march around in their uniforms and do their thing. And
that's right. The Nazis were a group of just a few hundred, a little socialist group in Munich that then got bigger when Army intelligence got involved because they were scared of the communists. So the government really secretly built the Nazis up as their thug force. And that brings us to the next point. Blackwater, The Nation magazine, federal court cases with Marines saying that Eric Prince had them killing people inside the organization that were going to whistleblow. We know the military killed Pat Tillman and has killed hundreds in Iraq that blow the whistle on corruption. Man, this is really getting wild.
It certainly is, and it has happened. And I noticed also that Blackwater people were hired out as personal assassins to different groups as well as the CIA, and that they were running whorehouses and engaging in pimping for young girls and held them as hostages in bondage, if you may. I don't know if you saw that. That's what DynCorp did in Bosnia.
Oh, yeah, we've been covering that for years. DynCorp and Halliburton were involved in that, and then when they got caught, they just changed their name. So we're going to cover that when we get back. We're going to open the phones up for the first time today for Bob Chapman, 1-800-259-9231, 1-800-259-9231.